Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about where to put your rear backup sight if you want to have a magnifier behind your optic. Okay, so we have a dilemma here, right? Uh, the uh, the optic has to go on the upper receiver, right? It can't go on this rail over here because this is really not that stable, right? If you hold on to your barrel and push down with your thumb over here like this, you're going to see that the rail moves a little bit as long as, especially if it's longer. Okay, so you can't move the optic more forward. Okay, so optic, that's as far forward as this optic can go. So that leaves only so much space behind it. So you're either going to put a magnifier back there, or you're going to put a rear flip up sight. Okay, so uh, now I had done a video a couple of weeks ago where I was debating, do I even need flip up sights if I have a house on optic that's solar powered with a battery backup? Okay, and I was kind of leaning no. I was kind of thinking that, hey, maybe the flip up sights were a little obsolete at this point. But then I had an experience a few days ago where I took this gun out into the woods to do a little bit of shooting. Okay, basically I brought the gun up to shoot, and optic was dead. Okay, so the situation was that I hadn't shot this gun in quite a while, and the battery had died, and it was dusk. All right, so the sun was not overhead, and there was not enough sunlight to power the solar panel to work the optic. So what I was able to do with this gun is bring up the flip up sights and shoot the gun. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that worked out really good. So at that point, I started thinking, hey, maybe flip up sights aren't obsolete yet. Okay, so but here's the thing: on some of my guns, because my guns tend to be very specialized, I have some guns that are set up for night shooting, where they have a dedicated rifle light with a pressure pad and the wires zip tied down. And like that's my dedicated night shooting gun. And then I have some guns that are like dedicated distance guns where I have like a variable 1 to 8 on it. Okay. But then I have other guns like this where I would prefer to have some flexibility. So a lot of times I find myself using a magnifier because a magnifier is easy on, easy off. Right. The problem is I can't just throw the magnifier on this gun because that flip up sight is there. So I did a little thinking outside the box, did some testing, and I came up with a solution. Now, I'm probably not the first person to think of this, but it's the first time I've tried it. Okay, so what I did is I basically took the rear flip up sight from the back, moved it up over here, and I got something that works. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about the positioning of this. Now, why do I have the front sight pulled back so much? The reason for that is because I want maximum flexibility. Because normally I am just using my optic. Okay, I'm not using flip up sights. I'm not using lights. I'm not using magnifiers. So normally I'm just using the optic. But this is a rifle that I occasionally shoot at night. Okay, so for occasional shooting, I'll take this pistol light, this Streamlight TLR1, and I will mount it to the front over here. Just twist it a little bit, and there you go. I now have the ability to shoot at night. Okay, basically I would just keep these down, right? So I've got the ability to do some night shooting, and this only stays on there for as long as I need it. Okay, because the light does add weight to the gun. That's the reason why I only have really, I have like maybe a couple of guns that I know are just dedicated night shooting guns. And other than to check my zero every once in a while and make sure my optics are working, I don't shoot those guns in the daytime because the light is zip tied down. It's just that the gun is just front heavy, right? So it is not as enjoyable to shoot. So I don't want all my guns to be, that much of a pain in the ass. So that's why I like the ability to just be able to quickly take off the light. So that's why I keep my front sight a little further back here. Because remember, the flip up sights are just backup sights. Rarely ever use them. Okay, so occasionally I may want to shoot at some distance. Now, out here in the woods, you can barely see past 100 yards because of the trees, especially in the summertime, right? In the summertime, you can barely see 50 yards out here. Okay, but I do have certain paths I've cut down, right, where I can get like 100 plus yards. Okay. So if I'm going to be shooting, especially at a small target, I want to put the magnifier on it. Nice thing about the magnifier, easy on, easy off. Put that on, lock that down, and now I got a magnifier on the gun, and I can flip this over to the side if I don't want to use it, right? Actually, I have my optic powered down, right? So I can, normally I'm using this, but if I think I'm going to be shooting at distance, flip that over, and now I can shoot a little better at distance, okay? If I think I'm not going to be shooting at distance, I will take this off. Now, in the rare situation where, let's say I'm going to be shooting at distance and then maybe going inside, going indoors, or like into a shoot house or something, where there might be a low light condition. Okay, so in that rare instance where I'm going to be going from distance shooting to indoor shooting, and then maybe back out to outdoor shooting, okay, I can set it up like this. So now basically I got a whole bunch of shit on the gun. I know it looks awkward, but here's the thing. It's, you know, once the stuff's on the gun, it's easy to take the things off. And the heaviest things on this gun are this and that, okay? Now, if you don't want it, you just take it off, take it back off, okay? Because I don't think I'd want to be walking through the woods with all this weight on my gun. So it's on there only when I need it. But the nice thing about putting the backup sights where I put them is I have that flexibility, okay? So now let's talk about a situation where the optic breaks, right? Optic's not working. Well, nice thing is with these holostones, they got the quick detach. So basically, if the optic's going to break, I would just remove it altogether, right? Get this weight off the gun. If it's not going to be helping me, just get it off the gun. Emergency situation, I would just flip these up, okay? Let me show you guys what it looks like with the where are you? There it is. Okay, so there it is with the reticle on and the flip up sights up. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to power down. All right, so I just powered down the optic so you cannot see it. So it's essentially like it's broken. All right, and that's what it's going to look like. All right, so let's take a couple shots of this. So now all I got is these iron sights. Now, I understand completely that the way this rear sight is supposed to work, right? Because that's a ghost ring. The ghost ring is supposed to be back here so that when you look through it, it ghosts out, right? And then your eye naturally centers the front sight post. So I understand that the optimal place for this is to be back here. This is an emergency situation now, right? Where this stopped working, right? These are down. I'm going to flip these up. Okay, come on target, right? Still go further out, 30 yards. Okay. So I'm getting hits on that plate back there at 30 yards now in this emergency situation. Right. So this is working. I mean, it works. Now let's take. Let me flip this down. I'm going to show you guys what this looks like with the light in the front. With the light on in the front, that looks like a front sight post. Oh, there it is. Actually, right now I got nothing on because I had powered down the battery. So if you're just shooting, all right, so even with the light on there, your front sight post pokes up just enough, okay, that you can basically line it up, get those shots, okay? So we'll throw it back. Okay, let's put the magnifier on there. Now, it is highly unlikely that you would have all these things on the gun at one time unless you're just storing it there, right? Unless you're just maybe moving from one area to another. Obviously, if you're going to have the magnifier, you're going to fold these back down. With the magnifier on, let me power up the optic. If I'm looking at 100 yards, okay, at 100 yards, you barely see the light. You just see like the little thing over here. That's through the magnifier. If you flip it off, let me show you guys what it looks like with the light on, using the optic. Not. All right, so this is all very workable. Okay, so it's not likely I would have both light and magnifier on at the same time. But you know, normally I think I would just take the magnifier off if I think I'm going to be using the light, or take the light off if I think I'm going to be using the magnifier, right? Because obviously I'm not going to have this on there in the daytime. It comes off easy enough. At nighttime, there's no reason to have the magnifier on there. I would just take that off, right? At nighttime, why would you want to be carrying around a gun with a magnifier on it at night, right? So at night, I'd be running the gun like this. Now, a lot of times people talk about the optic failing on you. It's far more likely that the light is going to fail on you. These 1,000 lume lights, you only get like an hour battery life on you, right? So the thing that's most likely to die on you is the light. Okay, so you got to have extra lights. Not extra lights. Have extra batteries and extra lights. But you know, there's been plenty of times when I'm doing a training session, light died on me, and basically I just took this off, swapped on another light in its place. So if anything is gonna stop working when you don't want it to, it's gonna be the light. That's gonna be the first thing that's gonna fail. Okay. You know, then after that, maybe your battery will run low. Usually you get that blinky. You know, so in a situation like I had where I hadn't used the gun in quite some time and it completely died on me, right? Flip these guys up, right? And you can use it, and you've got iron sights. Now, these might be a little bit close, but you know, how close are the iron sights on your pistol, right? So again, this is not optimal. This is for an emergency situation, right? Where you flip those up if this fails, until you can get to somewhere else, right? Where you can change the battery on your optic, put another optic on there, right? Or if that's not an option, let's get this off because daytime, we don't need that there. So if you're in a situation where your optic has died and now all you have is iron sights, right? Then basically you take this and you move this to the back, right? So you got that option, but at least it's on the gun. So you got the option of moving this back, and then you can move this up front if your battery dies, and you're not going to have a light, right? Then basically, yeah, I would move this all the way to the front, move this all the way to the back, so you've got that flexibility. You know, and what I have found is with these iron sights, when you move them, you know, I mean, they lose a little bit of zero, but the inside of 100 yards, you can usually get good hits on a man-sized target. You know, past 100 yards, to tell you guys the honest truth, with iron sights, it's really hard for me to get hits at you know, past 100 yards with iron sights. A lot of that has to do with my eyes, right? I got 50-year-old eyes. They don't do a great job of focusing on the front sight and at distance. That's why I love the optics. The optics allow me to, you know, shoot at a target at distance, and the dot is on the target, and I can focus on the dot and the target at the same time. So with the optics have made me have given me the ability to shoot at good distances. But anyway, something for you to consider. I'm not saying that this is the one and only way to do it. All right. If you guys have a different idea, a different way to get an optic, a magnifier, and iron sights on your gun, let me know. I'm very interested in hearing from you guys. But a way that you can test it out is power down, put your optic in manual mode, power it down, put your sights up, you know, and basically just practice with it. See how it works. Goes out to some distance. By the way, I'm using a 22 conversion bolt. I love these 22 conversion bolts because they allow you to do a lot of shooting, test things out. The other great thing about shooting the 22s is I'm able to test this out at close distance, because normally I wouldn't be shooting 5.56 at a steel plate this close, because I want to get a piece of steel plate coming back at me. So the 22, this is the CMMG conversion bolt. Really useful tool for doing this type of testing. Okay. What am I likely to do? I'm most likely, because I normally use this gun for training people, I'm likely to just take these off completely right now because, again, I don't like putting too much stuff on the gun, especially if I don't think I'm going to be using it. So that's why I got one gun set up for night shooting, another gun set up for distance shooting. So I tend to specialize my guns. But if you were to tell me that, listen, you only get one gun, all right, and we're sending you out, okay, or you're going to be going out, and you don't know how long you'll be out, you don't know what distances you'll be shooting, you don't know if it'll be daytime or nighttime, if you'll be indoors or outdoors, I probably want to go out there with the maximum number of options available to me. Okay, so theoretically, the maximum number of options that I can think of is, right, I want my optic because this is what I shoot best with. I want backup sights because I don't know how long I'll be out there. Maybe the battery stopped working. Maybe the battery will run out. Maybe I'll be shooting in low light conditions and that won't be working. So I want to have backup sights. I want to have a light, even though I know that this is going to probably be the first thing that runs out of power. I would at least initially want to take a light with me, and that goes on nice and easy. And I would want to have a magnifier in case I end up shooting long distances. I do have a variable scope for distance shooting, and it goes, it's a 1:8. So but here's the thing with the 1:8. It's a distance scope that has a short range capability by going down to 1 power. I have found that and it weighs 1.5 pounds. It weighing 1.5 pounds is a big consideration, because the nice thing about this magnifier is that it's lighter and I can take it off and not have to deal with this extra weight. So that's one of the reasons why I really like the magnifiers. I wish there's a 3 power. I wish they would make these in higher powers. I think the max power that these are being made at right now is 5 power, and it's really expensive. It's not really a common thing. But the 3 power is pretty good. I can easily get out to 200 yards with the 3 power comfortably. Okay, so anyway, yeah, this is a whole bunch of shit on this gun, and it's not likely I would have all this stuff on here at once. It's not likely I would have the light and the magnifier on at the same time, right? Likely I'm shooting daytime, light comes off, or it's nighttime, magnifier comes off. But it's nice to have. It's nice to have these things available to you, especially if you're in a situation where you don't know how long you're going to be out and what distances you'll be shooting at, what the light conditions will be. It's nice to have options. So just something for you guys to consider. Okay, so if you guys got any better ideas, let me know. This is something I've tried to research, and I have not been able to find any solutions to this situation of how do you have a magnifier and backup sights on your gun. So drop some comments below. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notification new videos I put up. I'll talk to you all soon.